Every Halloween, the streets of America explode with color, costumes, candy, and carved pumpkins glowing in the night. But the story of how this holiday arrived on American soil is much darker, much older, and far more unsettling than the cheerful trick-or-treating we see today. What if I told you that Halloween was not born in the United States at all, but carried across the ocean like a ghost, brought by people who fled famine, despair, and death? Before we dive into the truth, don't forget to subscribe right now and join this haunted journey, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at Halloween forever. Like the video, share it, and let's descend together into the shadows of history. Long before America existed, before cities, costumes, or even the concept of candy, there was Samhain, the Celtic festival that marked the end of harvest and the beginning of winter, a time when nights grew longer and the world seemed to die. The Celts believed that on this night, the veil between the living and the dead became so thin that spirits could walk freely among the living. Imagine standing in a dark, endless field, the cold wind slicing through the air, the fire of massive bonfires roaring in the distance, and the silhouettes of villagers wearing grotesque masks made of animal skins and skulls. They weren't wearing these masks for fun. They wore them to trick the spirits, to blend in so that the restless dead would not drag them into the afterlife. This was not celebration. This was survival. When Christianity spread across Europe, the church tried to suppress these rituals, branding them as pagan and dangerous. But the people clung to their traditions with fear and desperation, because abandoning them meant leaving themselves vulnerable to the spirits of Samhain. The church adapted, renaming the season All Hallows' Eve, the night before All Saints' Day. Yet beneath the surface, the ancient fire of Samhain burned on. And in the villages of Ireland, the most terrifying legend of all began to spread. The story of Stingy Jack, the cursed man who cheated the devil and was condemned to wander the earth with only a burning ember inside a hollowed-out turnip. His flickering light, people said, could be seen across the countryside on stormy nights, leading travelers astray, forever searching for rest he would never find. They called him Jack of the Lantern, Jack O' Lantern. As centuries passed, life in Ireland grew harsher. Crops failed, famine spread, and death stalked the land. Millions fled in desperation, boarding ships bound for America. But they carried more than hunger and hope across the Atlantic. They carried their ghosts, their fears, and their rituals. Picture a ship rocking violently on black waters, a storm raging overhead, lightning revealing the pale faces of desperate families huddled together. In their hearts, they carried the memory of Samhain, of Stingy Jack, of restless souls wandering the night. And when they set foot on American soil, those memories took root in a new land. At first, Americans looked at these immigrants with suspicion, mocking their beliefs, dismissing their stories. But the Irish clung to them. They carved grotesque faces into turnips and potatoes, placing candles inside to ward off Jack and other spirits. When they discovered the pumpkin, huge, hollow, and perfect for carving, the Jack O' Lantern was reborn, bigger and brighter than ever. Imagine walking through a dark, rural American town in the 1800s. The streets are unpaved, shadows stretch across broken fences, and from the porches of small wooden houses, giant glowing faces stare at you, their jagged mouths flickering in the dark. These weren't decorations for fun. They were guardians. They were warnings. But Halloween in America was not the safe, cheerful holiday we know today. In the 19th century, it was violent, chaotic, and terrifying. Groups of masked youths roamed the streets, vandalizing property, setting fires, and terrorizing towns. Parents locked their doors, praying that the night would pass without their home being attacked. For many, Halloween was not a holiday. It was a night of lawlessness, of fear, of shadows. And yet, the traditions continued to grow. Children began to dress in costumes, disguising themselves not just to play, but to hide from spirits they believed still wandered. They knocked on doors, demanding food or sweets, a practice born from the ancient belief that feeding the dead, or those who represented them, might keep your household safe for another year. Trick or treat was not a game, it was a bargain with forces unseen. As decades passed, America began to tame Halloween, turning it from a night of terror into something that could be celebrated publicly. Schools and communities hosted parties. Candy companies saw an opportunity, turning the dark ritual into big business. But even as the holiday transformed, the shadows of its past never disappeared. On the edge of every glowing pumpkin, in the flicker of every candle, in the whisper of every autumn wind, the old spirits still lingered. Some say that every jack-o'-lantern holds a fragment of Stingy Jack's curse, that every costume worn echoes the ancient disguises of Samhain, and that the laughter of children on Halloween night masks something much older, much hungrier, watching from the dark. Think about it. How could a holiday born from fire, death, and spirits become just candy and costumes? Perhaps it never did. Perhaps the truth of Halloween lies just beneath the surface, waiting for those brave enough to see it. In the flicker of a candle, in the chill of the air, in the strange feeling that something is watching you as you walk home in the dark. You're not imagining it. You are reliving the ancient terror carried across the ocean centuries ago. So the next time you see a glowing pumpkin on a porch, ask yourself, is it just decoration? Or is it a lantern burning with the ember of hell itself, keeping something out or keeping something in? When you watch children laughing in their costumes, remember the villagers of old, hiding their faces from wandering spirits. And when you walk home under the October moon, with the leaves crunching beneath your feet and the wind whispering in the trees, remember, Halloween did not start here. It was carried here by those who feared the dead so much that they brought their rituals across an ocean. And now, those rituals are yours, if you made it this far. You are one of the few who truly know the dark truth behind Halloween's journey to America. Don't forget to subscribe, share this story, and tell me in the comments, what do you think still lingers in the shadows every October 31st? Because the truth is, Halloween has never been just a holiday. It has always been a warning. And maybe, just maybe, it is a warning we should have never ignored.